Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Danica, and today we're going to be talking Family Chantel. So, I'm technically recording this actually prior to me recording last week's episode, but nonetheless, we have the finale coming up next week. Of course, we're going to be on a recording break, so that means you will still get our thoughts on the finale in the new year. That is the plan. So Letitia will be on that episode. We are planning for it. So she will be on that. So you will at least get her final thoughts on the season, on the series, on that episode. So we are gonna end it off with her, but you will get that, but you won't be getting it until the new year. So before we hop into my thoughts on this episode, let's do a little hot goss. So I think I've been behind on the times here when it comes to this potential hot goss. However, it appears that Mary is in a relationship with a guy named JD Crawford. She has posted some selfies with him. I have 2 different selfies with the 2 of them that I will post to our socials. And it appears that she met him through her friend who helps her at the B&B. I think it was her husband that kind of got them together. So I think that's kind of where she met him. I'm happy for her. I am 110% happy for her happiness with whoever this person is, as long as he makes her happy and cherishes her and actually wants to be in a relationship with her. I'm happy for it. So, but I think some people were thinking that Mary and the friend Jen were a thing. But I think there are some people out there that want that to happen. I mean, whatever makes her happy, floats her boat, I don't care. But I mean, I don't think. And obviously, common sense people, Jen is married to a man. So, I think they were both flattered, but no. So, a little Golden Bachelor hot goss. So, which you're gonna get that soon. So Golden Bachelor hot goss. Mr. Turner did talk on a podcast hosted by Justin Long called Life is Short. That he definitely had to go through an elaborate screening process where he was subject to providing fingerprints to the FBI, numerous background tests. There's a psychological evaluation. That's a good idea. And the psych eval was actually 360 questions. Lord. And then an hour of an interview. He said the vetting process is ridiculously thorough. I think that's okay. So, yeah. That is, yeah, great. Definitely have more to discuss on the Gary Turner front that I will save for the Golden Bachelor recap. So we'll save it for that. Otherwise, that is all I'm going to mention for this. We will save more of this on out of the Golden Bachelor episode. We still have a few more episodes to record, so we'll see where we're at. But anyways, let's get into the family Chantel and my thoughts. So what I'm thinking of doing is splitting this up between DR and Atlanta. So let's start with DR. So basically, kind of how this kind of starts off is Lidia is meeting up with Scott. And he is planning to tell her about this confrontation he had with Pedro. Saying that his head hurts because he punched him, or Pedro punched him in the head, and all of this, and saying, like, don't you think it's crazy that, like, your potential boyfriend is fighting with your son and all this? But ultimately, they're gonna go upstairs and they're gonna fuck. And the thing is, it's like, on the one hand, Lidia, get yours. On the other hand, though, this man just admitted to getting into a physical altercation with your son, and it's all good. It's all good. And he's just like, my children want to protect me and defend me. I think that's normal. Although, yes, it is normal for a child to want to defend and protect their parent. There's a fine line, but we'll get to it. So later on, after that, Lidia does talk to Pedro to get his side of things after she had sex with Scott. And there, Pedro says, did he tell you he hit me first? Did he tell you about the video? What video? Lidia wants to know. And then Pedro shows her the video and says, does this look like a guy who wants to be in a serious relationship? He's flirting with this one, and he's flirting with that one. And Lydia's like, okay, I'm not mad because of this. And then Lidia goes and confronts Scott about this whole thing. And she's like, I want to ask you something. Can you explain this to me? He shows in the video. She's like yelling at him. You explain this to me, explain this to me, explain this to me. I'm like, you can't tell him to explain it to you and then not allow him to explain it, although it doesn't matter. But still, you know what I mean? Anyway, they're basically like, he's saying it's not a big of a deal, blah, blah, blah. And she's telling him that he's like a charlatan. Yes, she did. And all of this, and just like going on. But then the low blows start hitting. They start hitting because she says, you're fat, you're ugly, you're bad in bed, your boom boom ain't that good. I mean, clearly it's not that bad, Lydia, if you kept going back for more. I hate that though. I hate when women, because I can't speak to it, but I hate when women will be like, acting like the sex is good, or thinking sex is good, or saying that sex is good, and then turn around and be like, you suck in bed. Like, no. I mean, I would have, if I wanted to be that low, would have done that to exes and all that, but I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it wasn't. Clearly it was. I stuck around. Come on. Anyway, she says that, which was funny in the moment. And then he hurls it back at her and says, you want to talk about my sex game? Well, let's talk about yours. You just lie there and you don't do anything. Oh my God. But then in the same breath, he'll be like, we had potential. But sir, you just said she was sucked in bed. I mean, what was the potential? I'm confused. Like, you're clearly not hurling the insult because she hurled the insult at you. Let's act our ages here. But what I did miss, and I want to talk about, which was discussed in the previous episode that I have not discussed yet, is the whole thing of Scott kind of being like, I'm gonna fuck his mom, and we're gonna make little Pedros. No, you're not. I'm gonna fuck his mom. And I want him to know it, basically. He's kind of like, he's gonna know that, like, I fucked her or some shit. Like, that's basically, it's a pissing contest, which is really weird. And he is kind of going like this, and I'm thinking, this is her child. Like, what is your end goal here? Like, how would you feel? Like, I don't know if he has daughters, but how would you feel if someone was acting that way to your child? You're fucking disgusting, sir. And that is the thing. Like, me and the teacher were actually talking about this, and we're not kind of agreeing here. I think he's kind of the one who's in the wrong here more so than anyone else. That is not to take away from Pedro's issues here in the situation. But the minute you're kind of abusing this power you have, the power of the dick, it's disgusting. You're gross. I don't care. I wish Pedro actually got a punch in, personally. So. And then he also tells Lidia that Colombians are better in bed. Well, that's funny, because I thought, like, she wants nothing to do with you. So you basically use the woman that you know is a problem against Lidia. If you're gonna fight, don't fight dirty. That's basically what I'm gonna say, but they both fought dirty, so it is what it is. But anyways, that is it. That is over. She's moving on. She just go back to the house and she's telling Pedro about everything that happened. And he said, there are a lot of men out there. You'll do better. And then Pedro says to his mom, so Nicole told me that Chantel's family is trying to get in touch with Alejandro to get intel on us. Nicole told him. And he calls Nicole and they have this conversation. And Lydia says, we're going to take care of this. Nicole, we're going to take care of this. We will figure it out. And Pedro's like, they have what's coming to them, but he doesn't know what it is. He's acting like he doesn't know what it is, or that, whatever. We'll get to it. So they end up going to a fucking voodoo store and getting voodoo shit to put in a box to ship to fucking Atlanta. That probably cost like $300 to ship. Yeah. What the actual fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? Like, listen, we're gonna do some education here. Voodoo is, although can have a dark connotation, it's not meant to. It's kind of very manifesty, manifesting kind of situation. I've done some learning on voodooism. Yes, can things get dark with voodoo? Of course. But it's not meant to be. The original origins anywhere are not meant to be. So, nonetheless, this is dark fucking magic. Let's move on. So, that is now going to be getting shipped to Atlanta. But let's go back just a little bit, from the very beginning with Chantel's side of things. So, she has a conversation with River while walking the dog about everything, and because he's calm, cool, and collected and all this nonsense. And he kind of says, like, I wish that I stopped her from marrying him. Maybe we wouldn't be dealing with this. And I'm thinking, there was nothing you could have done. And you were like 17 at the time. Like, calm down, sir. But anyways, they're gonna have the conversation. Fine, it's great, cool. Then we find out that Mr. Obed is in Atlanta and he wants to meet up with Chantel and talk some shit. So the main points that we want to discuss here with the meeting with Obed is, number one, him and Karama were definitely hooking up from high school. Okay? And that he wouldn't be surprised if Pedro and Karama are having an affair even now. Number two, as we kind of already know, he claims before that Pedro and Chantel meeting was set up, right? Apparently, which I didn't remember this, there were, whether they were vows or, they couldn't necessarily been vows. They must have been, things that he said to her at the proposal, which he translated from Spanish to English. So one side has the Spanish side, one side had the English side. And she's now being told that that was not his words. I don't know where the words came from, but they're not his words. And she just about loses her mind at this. And, yeah, which she says, like, it feels like she was never real, which I don't know. I can't speak to it because I'm in this weird area where I feel like I think this started off as a scam for sure, but I think somewhere along the way he maybe did grow some form of feelings for her. I don't know, but being with someone for 10 years is a long fucking time to not grow something towards a person, you know? But he's very upset about this, and I feel for her in this moment. I can't imagine. I don't think anything else was really discussed here. I think the next major thing, though, that happens is the box got delivered. And River, like an idiot, picks the box fucking up and says, "There's a box here from Santo Domingo. Ho ho shijo." And yeah, from Santo Domingo. I'm like, why'd you say it like that? Anyway, Santo Domingo. This box came from. I'm thinking, yeah, I left that shit outside. I don't know if it's a bomb. There could have been a bomb on an airplane. Again, if you know, you know. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, come on, don't bring the box inside. But obviously, Chantel's like, okay, clearly this is from his family. She opens the fucking box. We don't know if there could be anthrax. What the fuck? But anyway, she opens the box. And she's like, oh no, the devil's alive. You know what I mean? And she's literally like, not today, Satan. And she takes it outside the box. And Karen has her lighter fluid thing, and she's putting like shit all over the box. And it's like, Shonda's like, no, wait, let them see it. So they're like looking, and she's like, there's like this thing with like horns. It looks demonic. And there's like this other shit. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, they light that shit on fire after they move the box away from the front door. Why did River need to say, can we move the box away from the door? Maybe don't burn a box on your fucking porch made of fucking wood. Just a thought. Or your deck. Just a thought. What the fuck? Anyways, Chantel's like, I don't know. No, they didn't. And we going down to DR. I'm gonna confront these motherfuckers. I'm gonna get this shit done and over with. We're gonna go on the DR. Y'all pack your bags. We're leaving. And that's it for this episode. So, yeah, with next week, I kind of loved. He's like, why are you calling me? Well, guess where I am, motherfucker? Guess where I am? I'm in the Santo Domingo. And he's like, and I'm like, just like old times when you show up unwanted. You know what I mean? And he literally goes, this was fucking perfect. He goes to Nicole and Lidia, and he's like, so y'all sent a box of voodoo to Chantel and her family? And they're like laughing. They're like, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It's like, yeah, well, they're here. And they're like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, you're so laughing now. Why am I laughing for? Your discomfort gives me joy. Anyway, that is basically it for this episode of Family Chantel. Again, we will be doing the finale, and you will be getting that in the new year. So that is it for this episode of The Family Chantel. It's our second last episode, but that is it. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And you can rate a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I have a new thing that I want to start trying, and that is that every 4 or 5-star review that we get, I'll read it on the podcast. So if you want to hear your review on the podcast, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're able to rate and review. And if you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to Reality Tea Times 2 on Facebook, Reality Tea Times 2 podcast on Instagram or Threads, Reality Tea Times 2 pod on Twitter. You can also find us on Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. And you can also email us at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. And don't forget, you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also subscribe, like, comment on there as well. We greatly appreciate that. And don't forget that I do have another podcast with my friend Mikkel called Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different things. We currently have, this number can definitely change, but we currently have about 8 episodes. Roughly, we've talked about all kinds of different things. We have a lot of fun over there. So please go take a listen to us over at Next Take Podcast, which you can find us on YouTube at Next Take Podcast. You can also find us on our website, solo.to/Next Take Podcast. And don't forget, we have a website, and that is at solo.to/Reality Tea Times 2. And we also have a Discord, and I believe that's Reality Tea Times 2 as well. So you can find us there. But that's basically it. That's all the stuff. Of course, everything here that I've just listed will be in our show notes, all discount codes, special links to everything that we put in our ads are also in our show notes. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.